Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, my fellow YouTubers, Facebookians. Aries here with a video. Please excuse me for this. Usually I do not make any video posts until it's time, but I thought today would be a special video that I'll speed things up so we can discuss a young woman who's 52 years old basically said something to me in private message about being too old. Let me look this up. Well, this is the original iPad, my iPad mini. I'm going to have to recharge. She said she's too late for her because she's disabled for mental illness and have some physical problems. We all do, who's ever on disability, and would need cosmetic work to look more female. Actually, I've been feeling pretty hopeless. You don't need to feel pretty hopeless. There is hope out there. As I gave her the links, I want to talk to you all in a couple minutes about age. Now, I don't pass that well myself, but the problem is my family keeps telling me, "Oh, you're okay, Rita. You pass." I think they do it to make me feel better, even though I ask, "Do I pass?" And they're like, "Oh, yes, you do." Anywho, so first of all, let me just say, age shouldn't be a factor on transitioning. That's the first thing I want to talk about in today's video, age. Now, for all of you out there, age shouldn't play a factor. Look at the, no offense to the word, look at the old fart, the old biddy, the old curmudgeon who fought Medicare for 20 or 30 years. It was like, since 1981, rumor has it they've been fighting tooth and nail to get the gender reassignment surgery covered. Finally, they did. They left for Arizona or New Mexico, and they went to see Dr. Schechter out of Chicago. All because the 74-year-old veteran said, "Oh, well, it's medically necessary, and it's I can't remember the rest. Scientifically, for surgical intervention." I think that's the word in it. Surgical intervention. Don't mind me for a second. I'm looking up something here for you all. Let's see. Surgical intervention. Yeah, gender dysphoria is a good candidate for surgical intervention. Yes. Well, as you know, I have my letters, which reminds me, letters for surgery. Right here, I keep looking at them. These are these two here. One's a psychological mental report, and the other one is the letter from the therapist. So, do I pass? I don't think so, but some people do. Now, let's get down to brass tacks before I go off to have dinner because, well, my dinners are my dinners. Oh, and for some of you out there, I'm addicted to the game called Dragon Age for PS3. So, I try, there's 6 playthroughs, 6 beginnings, and the ends always interchange. So, I've seen most of the same endings. So, it's like, but the beginning is as interesting. And then you hear about other things. But this isn't about games. Anyways, comes a surgical intervention. This woman, I can't remember her name offhand. Anyways, some lady Dylan or something, veteran of the Army, fought at 74 years old to do the surgery. Now, age is no difference. You could be 80 years old, 90 years old. The point being is, you can be there to the point and wanting to get it done. So, surgical intervention can be done if you follow the protocols. That covers not just gender reassignment surgery, but I've heard certain things, insurance companies and GAP programs and Part C programs. All these programs are doing like breast augmentation, facial feminization, vaginoplasty, phalloplasty, penectomy. Those phalloplasty and penectomy, I believe, are female to male. Mastectomy, uteral removal, I think it's hysterectomy. All these surgeries are covered by Medicare if you classified under gender dysphoria. So to all you out there, before you go ahead, and do it. Do some research. There's websites out there. The bottom line is age has no limit. I mean, yes, look at the 3 or 4 year olds out there in the world. They're given estrogen already, or testosterone, or look at the young women. You know, like the one who tried committing suicide too many times. Turns out that she got in love with a female to male and then basically tossed them. I mean, they were from like Nebraska or something. So if you look at the picture, age has no difference. As long as you're self, then you should have no problems. I mean, look at me. I am 37 years old. Some people say I just need breast augmentation and vaginoplasty. Others say I need facial feminization and the works. But the point being is, look around. You know, age shouldn't have any difference on you thinking that you can't go through this. I've been going through it for almost 17 years. I'm almost at the end. Everyone knows this, you know. Surgery is coming. I didn't just jump out of bed one morning and be like, No, I actually went through hell for 16 years. I slogged through hell, slogged through discrimination, slogged through harassment. I mean, people sit there, as I've told the therapist and the psychiatrist, people sit there going, I'm like, hey, what are we laughing at? And they'd clam up. They were, you know, point being is you got to be strong. To do it, you must have that strong desire not to give up and not say, I'm too old for this. Maybe the ground's better for me. Suicide isn't the answer. Living life is the answer. A lot of people are on disability, and yet they're getting their surgical intervention covered as what the Standards of Care 7 edition says about surgical intervention or surgery. So usually I do not sit there and I, give very many speeches about it, but you got to remember, age has no meaning. I mean, unless you are just turned 21 to get a gun or to get some booze, you are anytime age has no meaning for being a father, for example. There's 13-year-olds, by mistake, of course. Age has no limit for other issues, love, except for some love is considered pedophilia, and you know how that goes. We won't go there because that, in my opinion, it's nasty. But you get the idea. Certain things, after 18, a lot of stuff is good as long as you remember age is no factor. I mean, if it is a factor, then you're basically putting a hex on your own life and saying, I'm done with it. But for the rest of you out there that want to plan a transition, let's take Caitlyn Jenner for example. 66 years old, the old fart decided to go and do something. Now look, yeah, so now they're Caitlyn, hell yeah. And then you see them all dolled up and it's like, hi, look how hot I am. And the other pictures, airbrushed, they look like the bloody Crypt Keeper. The other day I was looking at them, I was like, whoa, is that a zombie? I mean, yes, it's an older woman that looks like a grandmother, but guess what? At my age, they can make the same damn, poke fun at. But my point being is there's transgendered people out there that go through a transition when their children are still growing up and in the household. And they're married to a woman, or vice versa, female to male. I mean, look at it this way. In this day and age, there's so much going on in this world that you should not be deterred or taking a detour for being, if you're transgender and surgical intervention is the only way to make you happy and complete, then I say just go through the proper channels, get your letters, get everything lined up, and go for surgery. Problem is you shouldn't feel like you are the only one out there for, age. And let me tell you something about age and transitioning to all of you out there. I was talking to Halboo today, or some call him Huboo. as I call it. His nickname's Hubbu. Some think me and him are married. Hubby is what some people call him to me, but I call him Hubbu or Halbu. Halbu was a guy in Diablo 2, the game, who says, "Hail to you, champion," and he gave you items. But in Diablo 3, Malthael in Act 5 kills him. He's like a spirit seller or something. He's like, I don't know how Janella or him ended up in Pandemonium Fortress anyways. I've never thought about it. I'll have to Google it one of these days. Anyways, point is if you look at the age to this day, the older generation like me, I'm almost in my mid-range of 40. As I said, I'm 37. So take a look at the younger generation, okay? Younger generation goes out, doesn't do YouTube. They get a story on NBC, ABC, CBS, something like that. It's like, this tranny, or not tranny, I should say, this trans woman is going through it, blah, blah, blah. Next thing you know, they're like 14, 13. 20 years later, they're like, I'm trying to find a man, but no one wants me. That's because your whole name's been spread out there over the years. That's the other thing that me and Halbu, or Hubbu, talks about, and is the fact that we're talking about age here, but we're also going to be diving into another issue besides age, is that if you look around, the younger generation who think that it's okay to go out and have one of those coming out parties, like I'm coming out as transgendered or gay or lesbian or bi, people will be embracing it and saying, "Oh, there, you're brave." Point taken is, look around at the statistics. The more ones that come out as the younger generation, the more likely the older generation ain't backing them, like grandmother and grandmother to the children under 18 or like 12 or 10. And then you have the family that will embrace it, but then you have other family members that's like, whoa, we're not dealing with you ever again. Roadblock up, or a concrete wall, a brick wall, They set it up, you can't pass that section because they've done it, whether it be religious reasons or, they're like, you were born male, you stay male. You were born female, you stay female, But look around. I saw a woman today who was talking about suicide. Now, suicide, in my opinion, is wrong. Now, suicide, in my opinion, is not good. And not good, but it isn't great either, because suicide is something that, if you look at it, like a woman in Utah couldn't feel herself because no one accepted her and jumped in front of a dump truck. I think it was yesterday morning or something. But the point I'm making about that is the older generation is turning around, and handling things, whereas I was looking at a hole in my sock, by the way, is handling life. The older generation's handling life, and the newer generation, the younger generation, they're feeling that no one's accepting them. Oh, this family member will, this one doesn't, this one, well, the world won't give them this or that. Then they commit suicide. They leave different letters like, I wanted to be a normal girl and have a guy marry me and all this, or a boyfriend. Instead, this happened or that happened. Then they jumped off onto a truck or a bus or a train, or, as Hubbu said, it'll take probably several more centuries for the transgendered people to be accepted as like equivalents to the sex that they were meant to be when it comes to equals. Like a man who's a woman who's transgendered or a man who's transgendered. We're talking about male to female, female to male. Dating these opposite sex of them, like a female to male will date a woman, and a male to female will date a male, for example. Let's just take an example. The male to female is looking for a boyfriend. It'll take several centuries before, apparently, by Hubbu's own accord, that men will accept accept it, accept them as a genetic woman pretty much without uterus or ovaries or able to have a baby. There you have it. So, so yes, that's what he said. He might be right, he might be wrong, no one knows, but right now, between suicides and etc., I mean, Habu, as all of you know, he doesn't like deception, and since I don't pass well, I don't deceive, so, but he said most of them also that are getting murdered, it's because of deception. I haven't looked into the statistics. I'm more living inside my video game system at the moment to even think about it. But this woman basically turned around today and she said that her age is hindering her and maybe she shouldn't. Guess what? Transgender, go for it. You only get one chance. What if Medicare decides to cut it off and no one gets it again, huh? Only the ones that have had it done will be getting it done, then everyone else will be angry, hateful because they didn't get it done. So your main thing is get it done as soon as you can. I've been doing this for so long, it doesn't matter. So with that said, everyone, I got to get prepared. I got 26 minutes. I got to change my pants and put on some stuff and go out and go to the other apartment where Habu is to have dinner. Usual sausages and french fries right now. I have like 4 types of sausages. Yay! I'm addicted to bratwurst, but as soon as my bratwurst run out, I'll be switching over to some other sausages and bratwursts and smoked sausages and hot links until surgery. And for some of you out there, I didn't mean to make this video today. It's just I figured this video would be good for you, the people that are influenced. So, and this will be called transitioning for transsexuals or transitioning and age. And yeah, that'll be it. So, so anyways, please do not attack me for Habu's opinion. He is entitled to his opinion. I'm entitled to mine. You, the viewer out there, are entitled to your own. Which means as long as you're in America or in anywhere around the world where you are, you get most of the countries of freedom of speech. That said, everyone, please have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your weekend. Please look for a future video in time. Please add and subscribe if you like. Please post comments, leave feedback, suggestions. Thank you, and may God bless the world.